What is going on, guys? Welcome back to another episode of Strength Coach Rants. I'm your host, Connor Lyons, and today is actually going to be a product review of the OVR Performance Velocity.
I don't want to hear you, 'cause you cannot master the strength.
All right, so it's been a little while since we've uploaded an episode. I have been a very busy guy. It is the summer, which means it's my busy time. In addition to kind of finding my way around a new gym, since we closed the gym, I have now gone to Saddlebrook Sports Performance, which is a place that I've been before. I was the old associate director there before the guy who's there now came in. So it's kind of getting back there, but it is a little bit different when you're not the only coach on the floor and you're kind of working around some things. So it's been a very busy summer. I just haven't had a chance to do any of these, but I wanted to do an episode today on this OVR Velocity device. It measures bar speed and velocity and power and like time to peak velocity. It's got a lot of neat things that we'll go over here in a few minutes. But before we get going, I just want to say, if you're here and you found this episode or this video on the YouTubes and Spotify and Apple Podcast, you're probably somebody who thinks about tracking bar speed. You may be a conjugate guy, right? So utilizing the dynamic effort method, and you may be using it with athletes. If you are, there's a book I know that I wrote about a year ago called The Dynamic Effort Method for Athletes, and it is a great book on the history of Westside Barbell and how you can use it with your athletes and how you can manipulate the different variables within the dynamic effort method to give you different training stimulus and adaptations. What I like to do with my athletes is not utilize like the conjugate method the way that it's kind of written out for powerlifters. We like to manipulate it because there are some things that we need that powerlifters don't. And I'm a firm believer in the fact that, athletes are not powerlifters and their training needs to be different. In addition to the fact that I don't believe that the dynamic effort method chases necessarily the same stimuli that Louis thought it did. But that's all in the book. If you're interested, it's called The Dynamic Effort Method for Athletes. It's a great read. It's on sale all summer for $9.99 for both the Kindle and the paperback version. It's a short book, legit. You could probably read it in about an hour and a half. And then Total Hockey Training. If you're a hockey guy, it's a great book, lays out like what needs to be done when it comes to long-term development with hockey. It's got an entire chapter on conditioning and the fallacies within conditioning in that sport. There's another book that I wrote called Simple Strength, which is a play on like the repeated effort method or 5-3-1. And it's a great program, and it's an easy program, and it is a very simple program that will help you bust through plateaus and actually like give you a really good kind of training structure for long-term development, whether you're an athlete or somebody that just wants to be strong. So give those three a look. Now that shameless plug is out of the way, we'll get to the OVR Velocity. So if you're a strength and conditioning coach or even a fitness enthusiast, chances are this company's ads have absolutely littered your social media timelines. I cannot open Facebook or Instagram without seeing one of their ads. They seem to be all over the place, and it seems like it's been that way for about a year. I don't know how much money they're spending on ads, but it has to be an enormous amount because I cannot not see them. I see them everywhere. But about a year ago, it was the first time I saw them, and they had just come out with the Jump, right? And it looked like a really neat tool, but at the time, it just wasn't in the budget to invest in any of them, and it wasn't really something that I tracked anyways. I'm not overly interested in your RSI every day or your vert every day or your ground contact times just because of the way that it can kind of be manipulated by athletes and doesn't really mean much a lot of the time. But I am absolutely interested in bar speed, and they had a velocity model again, which is this little square guy right here. That I decided that I wanted to invest in. I was going to see if I wanted to outfit the entire gym with them, if there was going to be enough value in it for me to spend the money. And I honestly believe there probably is that much value there. It's a great product. And I had originally been put onto it in addition to those ads. Coach Fahey up in Tallahassee, he works at Florida State University School. It's like a Florida State High School. Basically, it's like across the street from one of the dormitories at FSU up in Tallahassee. I actually went to a basketball camp there when I was like 7 years old. It's a small world. But I found out that he was one of the owners and founders, and he's a guy who's actually on the floor. He's on the floor coaching high school athletes, so a lot of the same things that I do. And he's also he was the director of Westside versus the World. So I was like, absolutely, this has got to be a good product because this guy, he's on the floor coaching. He knows what coaches need, and he's a Westside guy. So I eventually decided I was going to buy one, and I did. It got here just this past week, and I thought I would go ahead and review it because I haven't seen any reviews that haven't come from coaches who are either paid to do them or were given free product. I thought I would just give it a go and kind of tell you my thoughts on this, and we'll do that now. Okay, so first things first, the price point. This unit was $249, and I opted for the extra magnetic roller that attaches to the bar, and I'll go over why I think that's something you should spend the money on. It's definitely worth it. And then a case because I am no longer in my own gym. Sorry, that's what it looks like. I'm no longer in my own gym. I don't really have an office to put things, and this thing's going to be kind of moved around quite a bit, so I wanted to have something that I could put it in that would protect it. And so you know, I think it was $15. It's kind of worth it, right? You're going to protect a $250 thing. Spending $15 is well worth it. The product itself, on the tether that attaches to the bar, this thing here, that's what actually helps you measure the bar speed. It comes standard with a Velcro loop. Now, I don't know that the lifetime of this Velcro loop with the amount of times that we're going to be doing and undoing it would be all that long. So that's why I say go ahead and invest in this roller. It clips to the bottom of the barbell, and it actually rolls. So no matter what happens on the bar, if it spins or if it stays where it's at, this thing will stay straight underneath it. It's not going to roll with it. It's not going to move, which means you're going to get like the best possible readings for the metrics that you need. So all in, I was about $281 shipped. It got to me in less than 4 days. I say less than like 96 hours because I think I ordered it like pretty late on a Thursday night, and it got here Monday, right? And we even had the weekend. So probably 3 days, came from Oklahoma all the way to Wesley Chapel, Florida in 3 days. And it was a nice little surprise because originally it was supposed to come in on Tuesday. But I got it on Monday, and we actually do some of our speed work on Tuesday. So it was nice to have. There's a couple things that I like, and there's a couple things I don't like. So for starters, the things that it measures. It is great for bar speed, average bar speed, peak bar speed, time to peak velocity or bar speed, which is a great metric to have, especially if you are someone who deals with athletes. And then it will also measure like average power, peak power, both in watts, and then time to peak power. Which is different than bar speed, right? So understand that. Those are all great metrics to have to make sure we're moving the needle and that our dynamic effort method work or our speed work or Olympic lifts or whatever you may be using it for are moving things in the right direction, right? Because that bar speed kind of dictates the majority of it. Like a 0.8 meters per second squared bar speed is going to mean that we're in that quote unquote strength speed. Again, there's a lot of reasons why I don't agree with Louis' take on these, and I will put the descriptions in, or I will put the links to these things in the descriptions. But it will allow you to operate, quote unquote, optimally in these spaces, right? So if I want a 0.8 meters per second square, right, and I have 60% of the athletes 1 rep max on the bar, and then maybe another 20% in band tension, and we're getting like a 1.1, I know we're not actually chasing the desired results, right? So we need to add more weight. At the same time, if the athlete is putting 100% effort into it and is operating at like a 0.6 or a 0.7, I know we're not getting out of it what we need to, and I need to take some weight off the bar. So in real time, you'll know whether or not you're training optimally, which is a great thing, right? And that's really the only reason I wanted this thing. It's nice to have those other metrics, but to be able to see in real time if the athlete is moving where they need to move, or how they need to move rather, is great. And you can show the athlete, right? So I don't know how many times you can tell an athlete, and this has probably happened to every single one of you, if you're a coach, the weight is moving and the athlete's like, oh, that feels slow. It's like, actually, like, believe it or not, man, it's actually moving. It is never as slow as you think it is. And you can show it to the athlete, hey, this is how fast it went, right? Another great metric is that it will give you time to that peak speed, right? So if, I don't know, if we're at like half a second to peak velocity, right? It means that we're probably not moving great out of the bottom. and we may need to take some weight off so that we can get the desired result. Another great aspect of it is that it has this thing called sandbox mode, right? So one of the biggest things I wanted was sometimes I just want to measure bar speed and I don't give a shit about anything else, right? So it allows you to do that so you can have a bunch of different athletes hopping in and out, and those metrics and those data sets don't get attached to anybody. They're just there in real time to see in the app, and it's nice and big so everyone can see it. And you don't have to deal with all the back end of, this guy's data's here. And, there's some pros and cons to that. But for the most part, I wanted this for like real time. Right now, we're either moving fast or we're not moving fast, right? Another great thing that this is good for, measure, and this is any bar speed device, but I'll go over why I think this is like a really a good one if you're in the market for one. It's going to give you like a better understanding of whether or not this work is having the effect that you want, like even on strength, right? Or fatigue or any of these other things. You can look back and be like, all right, we were operating at like 0.7 and we really want to operate here. And on Friday, like after doing our speed work on Tuesday, on Friday, we had a really bad lift. Like maybe this had something to do with it. We were overextending ourselves on Tuesday. And then now on Friday, the bar is moving incredibly slow or not moving at all, right? And now we can kind of look back and say, all right, well, maybe this wasn't optimal for this kind of little block of training, and we can make adjustments where we need to, right? So both in real time and being able to look back on the data are going to be like really beneficial for you as a coach. And you can export them as a PDF so you can have those files, you can send them to people, or you can look at it right in the OVR Connect app, which is free, right? And that is a big, big point for me. I didn't want to have something that I was going to have to pay for in perpetuity forever and become a slave to, I don't know, GymAware or any of these other companies. I wanted to be able to one time just do it, and I didn't want to have to spend $1,500 on a single Tendo unit, and this was a great option, right? So it's a budget-friendly option, but honestly, you're getting a lot more for your money at $250. I don't know if their price points will go up in the future or if they'll decide that they want to do like a paid subscription model for their app. But it's a great option for $250. You could outfit an entire 4-rack gym for under $1,000. Like it's a no-brainer. This the one thing that I kind of don't like about this is at the bottom, right? So this isn't a very light product. In a very heavy product. It's pretty light, and so it has magnets on the bottom, right? The magnets are meant to stick to something so that it stays on the floor, because otherwise, when you pull with speed, it will come off the floor and it will dangle and it will kind of screw with the results. We have urethane plates at the gym I'm currently at, so right now it's tough to find something to stick this to and have it stay. So that's my only gripe about the product, is I wish it was either slightly heavier or the magnets on the bottom were slightly stronger. But tomorrow I'm going to go to Play It Again Sports and find like a 10-pound plate that has a flat side on it, and that's probably what I'll use going forward. So it's a pretty easy fix, and like I said, at $250, I don't really have any complaints from that perspective. All right, so this is a fairly short episode. I kind of just wanted to get back in the habit of doing things, and I was really impressed with this product, so I kind of wanted to let other people know you don't have to be slave to these companies. You don't have to spend $2,000 to $5,000 on a solution for your like bar velocity measuring needs. This OVR product it's great. Like for the price point at $250, even the things that I don't like about it, like, it was $250 and I'm measuring the things that I want to measure, and I'm able to get that stuff in real time and show to my athletes so that they can make adjustments on the floor in real time, and I don't have to eyeball it anymore. So chances are I'm gonna try to, I don't know, like come up with the funds to get 3 more of these so that the entire gym has them and we can use them because I do find that much value in them. And I don't know if OVR's got me all the way through yet, because now they make like timing light or laser. Goodness, they make timing lasers, and they have the OVR jump, which is a good like measurement tool, kind of like a jump mat, but it just uses lasers. So you'll be jumping on the floor, but it measures all the same stuff. And my assumption is that it does it fairly like similarly. I do know at the facility I'm at right now, we have another device that we use for that, and we have a jump mat, and they are both well off of each other. The other strength coach there, Chris, today actually realized they're about 4 inches off of each other. So it'd be interesting to see what the OVR jump does, if it's similar or if it seems to be relatively off as well. But again, it's one of those things. It's like a $300 piece of equipment that you could be spending $1,500 to $2,000 on. And if really what you're looking for is trends, because you're using these things to kind of dictate what you're going to do in the gym that day or that week or that block, then it's a great tool. It gets kids in and out of there quickly. One thing that I would like to say, OVR, if you stumble across this, and it may lead to like a paid version of your software, is to have like the ability to pull up a roster and send data sets to like different kids, like who may be training in the same rack, just for guys that want to be able to hold on to that info and not have to write it down separately. It would be like a neat option that you could maybe upsell. Also, like if you sold just like a 10-pound flat piece of metal, you can put OVR on it. That'd be like a really easy upsell, because I would have bought that, because like I said, I don't want to have to go to Play It Again Sports and buy a stupid 10-pound weight. And it would probably look a little nicer. I know making the product heavier is probably not in the cards, because that's going to increase the cost of the product, increase the price of the shipping, and all that kind of stuff. But that might be a nice little upsell on your site. The great product overall, like if I had to give it a score out of 5, it'd be like a 4.9 or a 5. The things that bother me about it might not bother everyone else, and it does what it's supposed to do. And from what I understand, it's pretty accurate. I don't have anything to compare it to as far as like accuracy of bar speeds and things like that go. But from what I've read, it is as accurate as the quote unquote gold standard, which would really be like a Tendo unit in this case. It's a company run by coaches. One of them is a coach that's still on the floor. He's a West Side guy. He works with high school athletes, so he knows what other coaches need and want right now, and he actually has to deal with these things on the floor in real time. So if I have an opportunity to help out a fellow coach and fill a need within my own programming and coaching, I'll absolutely do it. That's a win every single time. So 5 out of 5 would buy again, and probably will buy a few more. If you're new here, go check out Dynamic Effort Method for Athletes. Like I said, it's on sale. It's like $9.99 for the rest of the summer. If you're whoa, that was a good throw. If you're a hockey guy, go buy this book, Total Hockey Training. Again, you won't regret it. It's got a lot of really good information, and it's available on Kindle, paperback, and that one actually has a hardback because it's like 300 pages long. Simple Strength. If you're just looking for a simple, easy way to organize your programming, like it is stupid easy. We sell some templates on the website as well, so you can check that out. I'll link that in the description. OVR Velocity, W product. I'm a fan. I will buy more, and I encourage you, if you're in the market for something that measures bar speed, to go ahead and do the same. That's all I got for you today. Hopefully, we're going to be back on top of these. The Great Strength Debate, I've got like 15 coaches lined up. We just got to find a time to be able to sit down and do it. I got an argument with a coach not too long ago on Instagram and Twitter. I actually had a tweet that totally blew up, and it's about like Cal Dietz's triphasic training potentiation stuff. I'm trying to get that dude on the web or on the Great Strength Debate, because I would like to have a conversation with him and have him defend some of the nonsense that comes up in my feed. So keep an eye out for that stuff. Go buy a book if you're a coach. There's great information in there. I appreciate you watching and listening, and we will see you next time.
I don't want to hear you, 'cause you cannot master the